The output element is the last of the new HTML5 form tags that we're going to take a look at. The output element is another semantic element, and it represents the results of a calculation. One of the things that forms are used more and more for is to provide ways for calculating final results of things. So you can imagine that a form might provide a series of fields that add up numbers and give you a final result. And the output element is intended to be the place where calculation results like that go. To use it is pretty simple. You simply use an output tag, and you typically give it a name or an ID. And it has some attributes and some DOM access. The for attribute indicates the elements that either influenced or directly participated in the calculation that the output element represents. So this is a space-separated list, and the list should contain the IDs of the elements that had something to do with the results that the output tag is displaying. And the value of the output element results of the calculation is accessed via this value attribute. So it's a pretty simple tag. Let's just go ahead and jump into the code and see how it works. So in my snippets, under the output section, these are the snippets I'm going to be using. So let's go ahead and open the output start example. So if we just quickly take a look at this, you'll see that I've got a form here with two value entry fields. And we're going to add an output tag to represent the result of some calculation. You can also see that I've specified that these fields are number types. So we'll be taking advantage of the fact that the browser can customize these fields to represent numbers. So let's go back to the snippets. And first, let's copy in these two lines here. So the first line I copied in is the output tag itself, and it has an ID of result. And you notice that it's empty. There's no fallback text here. And I also copied in a button, which when I click it, will call a function named calculation. And then calculation will perform some kind of calculation and store the results in this output tag. So let's go back and get that code. And that's this script right here. So let's copy that and paste it in. So this is the calculation function, and it's invoked by this button right here. So let's see what it does. It gets a reference to the output element, that's this right here. And you can see it's getting the element by its ID, which is the result. And that's this output element right here. Then it gets the two number elements, and each one of those has an ID of num1, num2. That's these guys right here. Then it sets the value of the output element to be the result of whatever the value of the number 1 field is, plus the value of the num2 field. And I'm getting the text values out of those fields and parsing them into being floating point numbers using the standard built-in JavaScript function parseFloat. So this will just simply take the two numbers, add them together, and display the results in the output field. So let's save. All right, let's go look at this in the browsers. So first, let's take a look at this in Firefox. So you notice that in Firefox, the numeric fields don't get any specific UI treatment with the up-down arrows. So I'll just simply type in some numbers. I'll type in 4 and 5. And when we click on the perform calculation, you can see that the result, 9, gets put into the output field. So let's go ahead and try this in another browser. Let's put this down. Let's bring this up in Chrome next. Now here, the number of fields do get spinner controls. So I'll just go ahead and spin up some values, 5 and 6, and we'll click on perform calculation. And you can see that the value is being stored in the output field and rendered, and that's the number 11 right there. Okay, so it works in Chrome as well. Let's go ahead and close that down. Let's bring it up in Internet Explorer. So we'll put in two numbers, and we'll click on perform calculation. You can see that in this case, IE does not yet support the output element. So if we wanted this to display, we would have to go back and fix this in code by putting the results on the interior of the output tag to display some fallback text. So go ahead and close this. And let's finally show this in Opera. And once again, we've got number fields, so I can spin these values up. And we'll click results, and you can see that the value is being calculated and stored in the output value field, which then displays. Just for good measure, let's just go ahead and show it in Safari as well. We've got the browser, might as well do it. So we'll put in 4, we'll put in 5, Click calculation. Looks like Safari also does not yet support the output element. So for Safari and IE, we would need to go back and do some DOM manipulation to put the results on the inside of the output tag because the value is not showing through, but the other browsers do currently support it. So the output element, just to recap, is used to show the results of a calculation. It's a semantic element for forms. It basically says, hey, if this form performs calculation, here's where the results would go. So you can go ahead and start using this today, and it'll work in currently Opera, Chrome, and Firefox browsers, and we'd have to do some script workaround to get it to work in older browsers.